What's up? It's Dakota Hylton here. This is going to be the first episode of Hylton's Highlights. It's a podcast where I'm just going to interview whoever I want about whatever I want. And today I'm going to have my co-host, my brother, Twitch. And for a lot of people that don't know, a lot of my jokes or whatever, there's a lot of times it's stuff that he's helped me come up with or his ideas that I've twisted around. So he's a big part of what I do and everything I do. And today, our first guest, he's a phenom in the octagon. He's an MMA fighter, and he's fought in a lot of crazy fights. And he's about to have his first pro fight. So we have Caleb Williams on today.
Hey, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So I guess let's just start with telling the people a little bit about you. So how'd you get started fighting, and where do you fight?
Warriors Academy MMA, Independence. We just opened up our second gym on 24 Highway not too long ago. We're growing pretty fast. But yeah, what got me into fighting? I've always been a fighter, man. Fighting's always been associated with me ever since I was a freaking toddler. Grandparents got me into Taekwondo, and then it kind of stemmed from there. But yeah.
So you say you're always in the fighting. So were you a street fighter then?
Oh my gosh, dude! I've been in so many crazy street fights, brawls, whatever you want to call them. There's not very many one-on-one street fights that I've been in, but I've been in way too many.
So okay, I guess on that, can you give us your best knockout situation, and maybe have you ever been knocked out in those situations? Because the street fights, it tends to be whoever just gets that first punch.
So, yeah, I've never been knocked out in any of those situations, fortunately. But I have gotten the better of some people. And I say some people because it's been probably too many.
Yeah, I've heard some stories from some friends, and luckily I've never been a fighter until as of recently, and I don't really go trying to get in fights.
Kind of me neither. That was way back in the day, way back in the day. But now you kind of channel it, center it, and
yeah. And so did you learn that like from going to the gym and stuff? Because if you were, I'm assuming, pretty wild and going into a gym, I've seen guys come in and they think they're just badass, and they kind of, they learn very quickly that if you aren't trained, you actually aren't as good as you think sometimes, and that kind of that's how I learned to like control a lot of my anger and stuff.
So I've never really been angry guy. I'm a very I get agitated, but not really angry, but I'm like a go person. Very goal oriented, and if I don't have goals and if I'm not working towards something, I'm not really happy. There was a time in my life where things were just kind of at a lull, and I met this buddy, Rex Stidham. He was cage fighting at the time, and he said, "Hey, dude, I got the hookup. Come meet this guy." And my wife was like, "Dude, I've heard the stories. I want to see you back in there." So I got back in there. I told her she didn't know what she was in for, but she's in it now, and she loves it.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like following your whole story, because watching how your wife supports you and stuff, and I always see you talking about that. That's definitely what I want. So that's cool to see that. And I was watching that video with you and your son playing baseball in your house with your wife. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do that.
That actually was not us. That was actually someone else.
Oh, was that not? Now I feel like an idiot.
No, but that's cool that you thought that, because that is something that we would do. Yeah. That was actually just an idea, and I was like, "Babe, that's fucking cool. Let's do that."
Damn, now you got to make the video, because I swear I thought that was you. No. But fair enough. I probably watched it I wake up at 4 in the morning, and I'll be watching crazy stuff. You watch those sad dog videos, I'll get to crying 4 in the morning.
Oh shit.
But no. So Warrior Academy, though, I know a couple guys up there. I'm trying to think, what's my friend's name over there? Roman. He goes there every once in a while.
Yeah, he's a very little karate style dude. I like sparring with him.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight down there in Florida. I wish he would, try to really get it and take a fight because he has that weird, unique style. I think he could actually be really good.
He's got that Lyoto Machida kind of bounce to him.
So do you coach up there and stuff as well?
I do coach some a little bit. I'm usually like just the dummy that gets thrown around a little bit and throws pointers out every once in a while. But sometimes Tyler will have to go on a road trip to fights and things like that, so I'll fill in.
So now is that something that you've thought about going down the coaching path? Or, I mean, because I know you're wanting to fight, and like I said, you're about to have your first pro fight. But what have you thought about the whole end goal with that? Are you going to try to coach as you're fighting? Or you just going to try to stick to fighting? And
so I'm going to ride this train till it crashes. In that time frame, I hope to build a lot of good relationships with a lot of good people. I'm not here to trash talk and do all that stuff. I'm here for the love of martial arts. Coaching is going to be inevitable. My son is 2 years old. He lives the fight life, dude. He thinks he's a freaking fighter. I mean, sauna, gym bags, pad work, everything.
Yeah,
except diet.
I do see those videos of him hitting the bag.
Yeah,
so
he's ridiculous. But yeah, coaching's going to be inevitable.
So now I guess with that, how long have you been at Warriors Academy then?
I am coming up on 3 years now.
So then, because I know I've only been at, I train at Bricks Boxing, and I've been there a year and like 3 months, and I see guys come in and they say they want to fight, and you don't really actually normally see guys stick around and actually put in the work sometimes. Sometimes, I've seen so many people turn around and come in and leave in a month. And is that something that you see a lot over there? And then also...
So it just kind of depends. We have a lot of people that want to come in and train that eventually want to test their skills. And then we have some people that want to test or build their skills and then test them. We have a pretty good system, like points tournaments, smoker fights, things like that before they actually take a sanctioned fight. But we try to build them up, build their confidence up before we actually throw them to the wolves. Sometimes we have people that want to take shortcuts and make those jumps, and then really it's not good. It's not good for relationships. For one, coach told you you're not ready, and then he wants to go. But we get that every once in a while, but not very often.
Yeah, and I know that's something that my coach is big on. Is he's not gonna have you go get in the ring and one, make the gym look bad, and then two, if you go in there and get knocked out, you know what I'm saying, you're never gonna want to do it again. So you need to be ready, and you could still, even with amateur boxing, you wear headgear and stuff, you can still get hurt. So and MMA's, I mean, much worse. It's crazy what they allow you to do in the amateurs compared to boxing. So.
Oh yeah. I think another important thing about your gym, wherever you go, is the family, the brotherhood feel to it, and that's one of the reasons why I've stuck around so long. Just that brotherhood feel.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a points tournament, it's just not one person going. It's them and the team are going, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Good support system.
That's why I love my gym. My coach is literally just like me. I'm able to go in there and joke around and be myself, and I mean, he can attest to that too. My first amateur fight, we had over 60 people come to support. So it's a
good show out.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming whenever. Now, because people also saw me, I lost a lot of weight to get there, so a lot of people saw that whole progression.
I've watched your journey.
Yeah, and it's been crazy, and that's where, like, with you, what I was going to kind of ask was, because I know you're probably one of the top dogs more at your gym now, especially having as many fights as you do.
I hope I do.
Yeah.
I hope I am.
Then, so you have to have these kids probably, and you might not even realize it sometimes, but that actually do look up to you, and they might come up to you and ask you some questions, and you can kind of just tell when you give them advice that it actually means something to them.
Dude, that is like one of like the biggest things. It like makes my heart like after a fight, win or lose, man. I have so many kids come up to me right after. Hey, man, I was rooting for you. Hey, I knew you were going to win. Hey, man, next time, whatever it is, man. Hey, can I get a picture with you? Hey, can I get a signature? I mean, it's crazy. It makes my heart explode.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I love, and I really didn't expect to go into the whole coaching side of it. I kind of just fell into that, and yeah, it's weird whenever you see that it actually means something to them, and with you, I'd imagine it's even more because FAC has some pretty big fights, and it's a pretty big platform to be on. The first time I went there, actually, that's where I saw you fight was last February, when the Nelk boys and Dana White were there.
Oh, that was a fun night.
Yeah,
that was a very fun night.
And I think you lost that one that night, but you
stand a guillotine in the third round.
But what made me the fan of you though was because you if that fight stayed on the feet, you would have won. I believe that because you guys were just going back and forth. I remember it being like a dogfight, and that's why I was like, I like this guy.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I added you right on Facebook after that. So. Now, as far as those fights, what's been probably your favorite amateur fight that you've had so far?
Dude, that one and my last one. My last one was like almost a reanimation of that DaCosta fight, except it's got to stay on the feet a little bit longer. It went to the third round. I was looking at my stats the other day. I haven't been finished since Sam Coronado, which is pretty cool. I like that stat. But DaCosta was definitely my favorite, and this last one, I think his name was Costa too, or Costa or something like that.
It seems like everyone has like the same names these days.
Yeah, but he was a stud, dude. He was a stud.
Yeah, that I don't think I've ever seen that Sam fight, but I became a fan of him too. He's definitely. I think he'll be in the UFC one day.
Yeah, I really like Sam. I really like Sam. He caught me, but I really like Sam. He cut a lot of weight to take that fight too, and I respect that. I seen him at weigh-ins, and he could barely freaking talk to me. I'm like, dude, go hydrate.
Yeah, now that's the thing. I guess with you, how do you feel about that though? When guys are cutting so low and then rehydrating so much before. Do you care about that, or?
I don't. I just see it's part of the game. It's part of the game, and sometimes you can really figure out who wants it more when those times come. So.
My problem's I can't. It's hard to starve myself that last week because luckily I don't have to cut weight too much with the amateur boxing stuff, but. I mean, I can't get on a diet to save my life. That's my main problem. You got a pretty good diet?
I did have a really good diet, but my diet's kind of slacked off every time I cut weight. I do it a little bit different. And I'm like, oh, that was easy that time. I can do it a little bit different this time. But this pro fight, I'm gonna be super disciplined. Or I am being super disciplined.
And who are you fighting for that first pro fight? Where's it gonna be at?
Jimmy Roach, Memorial Hall, Kansas, Kansas City, Kansas, June 17th. He's pro boxer, coming out of the pro boxing world. I think he's trying his foot in the MMA world. From what the fight poster said, I think he's looking for his second MMA win. So,
yeah, I'm definitely going with you on that one, and. Definitely, if you guys can make that, go out to that. If you have not been to Memorial Hall, which I'm assuming you fought there before, that is probably the coolest venue.
Yeah.
And back in the day, a lot of people probably don't realize this, but that place used to be the spot like for concerts. I've heard like ICP playing there.
Korn.
Korn, the Cottonmouth Kings.
Anything 90s.
Anything 90s.
Anything 90s.
I'm pretty sure that was a big wrestling spot back in the day. I know they sold out.
Invicta's there.
Who was it?
Invicta.
Okay.
They hold their stuff there.
Yeah, there's and they still are putting on events there, and I think it's the best venue in the city. I think FAC going to Cable Dahmer, that's awesome. But as far as like, it would just be cool to see a place like that sell out again, because it used to, those places used to sell out back in the day here.
Dude, Memorial Hall is probably my favorite place to fight. It's Probably my favorite place to fight. It's so loud. Everything's like right there in that little freaking cylinder building. But I do like the guts and glamour of FAC, that cable armor.
Yeah, that whole walkout stage.
Yeah. I do like that. I love the walkout.
Now, I do have a question with that if you're willing to talk about it, because I've always wondered. Now, with the amateur stuff in boxing, they don't give us tickets to sell, and they don't, so you can't make anything off of it. Now, with the amateur MMA, do you get a ticket deal on that? Because if you're selling 100 tickets, are you getting $5-6 off of that at least?
You get paid for like travel and gas and stuff like that, but it just kind of depends on what promotion you're fighting for.
And that's with the amateurs too. That's cool. Yeah, that definitely helps out a lot. So now same with the pro stuff. Do you guys, with it being like your first fight, does it go off ticket deals, or do they just give you a
I'm
guarantee?
hoping so. I'm really hoping so. But I didn't do this for the money, you know. I really didn't do it for the money. I'm doing it for opportunity. And so, yeah.
See, that's good to hear.
If people want to see me fight, I'm willing to fight for them. As soon as they don't want to see me fight anymore is when I'm like, you don't want to see me fight? I guess I don't want to fight anymore. But right now, I think people are liking it. So
yeah. It seems like you have a really good following, and I mean, from what I can tell, every time you go out, you always have a good crowd there for you, going crazy. Speaking of that, how old are you?
I am 35 years young, sir.
Nice. That's still.
I get a lot of shit for it at the gym because I'm like the oldest one there, but I give them a lot of shit back because I can do more than they can.
Well, and the whole thing to that is, I mean, you still have plenty of time to do it, and take your chance and go pro now. And for one, most people can't even say they fought, let alone they went pro. So I think that's the coolest thing is I didn't realize, how the game really was. And I just that whole thing is cool, and I think you're gonna do very well. And I mean, there's been a couple guys that's gotten into the UFC still in their 30s, so like you can't, never can write someone off.
Yeah.
Especially taking the right fights where it's just, they're good fights. That's all that matters.
Right. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, UFC is not an end goal for me. Going pro was my goal when I started 3 years ago. And here we are. Now I'm just going to, like I said, relationship build, sharpen my skills, build my knowledge. So when it's time for my son, I'll pass on everything to him. It's inevitable.
Yeah, see, that's awesome. Especially, from the videos I see, it seems like it's him wanting to do it and like seeing it and like wanting to do that, and not like you're going and forcing him to do this. It actually seems like he enjoys like doing that, and that's where.
You give him a choice to watch cartoons or fights, he'll choose fights all day.
See, that's
all day long.
That's awesome, and especially to have you with your work ethic and him be able to see that, because that's where we grew up with a single mom, and she kind of had crappy boyfriends that never really gave us that positive influence. But I always I got lucky, and I was a bat boy for the baseball team in 3rd grade, and so I had this I was every day after school I was going to these high school practices, and it just forced me to become better, because I was able to see people actually doing that. And
I tried my hand at baseball. Baseball wasn't my thing.
Yeah, I was good until high school. I got really fat in high school. I didn't make the high school team, and I cried. Actually, I saw that coach the other day too, and I told that to him. But I told him, I was like, "But I'm fighting now."
Yeah, right.
So fuck you.
Yeah, I'm making up for it.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, I guess going outside of fighting though, what's your life like? I know you're married. You have a kid.
Oh yeah.
What do you do for work?
So I'm the general manager of the Jiffy Lube in Independence, off 291 Highway. Without my crew that I have there, me training every day would not be a thing. They make it possible for me to leave for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours sometimes, to go train every day, Monday through Friday. Or Tuesday through Saturday, and then I'll hit up Monday sometime on my day off. But they make it possible. There's some. Every single one of them supports me. Every single one of them comes out and watch my fights. I mean, it's like a big deal with them. And then big family guy outside of that. I've got 4 kids altogether. 2 stepsons. I got a son of my own, and then a daughter of my own. We're pretty freaking busy all the time.
Yeah, I could imagine
Yeah.
that. And how old are all of them?
My daughter, she just turned 11. Carter is 9. Clayton is 6, and my son is 2 years old.
Yeah, so that's a pretty busy household.
Yeah.
And are all of them play sports and
Yeah,
and stuff?
my daughter did play sports. She got tired of softball. She's kind of like a band geek now, which is cool. Means I don't have to take her to practices every day, do all that. But she just kind of fell out of love with it, I think. Clayton, he doesn't play any sports. He's just a follower and a watcher. Watches his brothers and sisters do everything. Carter is a big baseball guy. He loves his baseball. He loves his soccer.
Yeah, those were our fun. He was really good at soccer, but we moved where they didn't have a soccer team, so we went from these bigger schools to smaller schools. But yeah, so speaking of that, I guess because you guys live in Independence, then.
No, I actually live in Kingsville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live in Kingsville, brother. It's like right outside of Holden.
Oh, I know Kingsville. I grew up in Leeton, so we played Kingsville.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I live all the way out there. So.
Well, that goes into the question I was going to ask you, because I was going to say, what do you think about bigger schools to smaller schools? Because I was a fan of going to that smaller school because I was the shit.
Yeah. So, because I was the shit. My kids love it because my stepson, he's the shit. He's really a shit in his sports. He's kind of like levels above the other kids, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
where the hell were we going with that?
Just with in the smaller schools or the bigger schools.
Yeah.
Did you go to a smaller school?
No. I went to a different school every year of my life till I got into 11th grade. So my kind of childhood was a little bit different than a lot of kids. I was a new kid every year until 10th grade, 11th grade.
Okay, so that's actually, wow, that's probably, we didn't move every year, but we moved a lot, and so we had a really crazy, childhood as well. So actually, maybe if you want to talk a little bit about that, what was with the moving? Was it?
Yeah, just a lot of splitting up, a lot of family drama. I come from a household of addiction and things like that, and unfortunately I've got some family members still fighting with it. We're trying to help her out, but it is what it is. But I kind of had a rough childhood. My grandparents kind of took me and my brother and my sister over at a young age. They raised us. They kind of did their splitting up thing, and then I don't know, just a bunch of moving, jumping around. None of them really owned houses, so it's kind of like a rent thing every year. And
Oh yeah.
it's one of those deals, man.
Yeah, we started, our life was pretty normal at first. Like I remember we actually had like it was like the white picket fence type thing. We had a nice house in Odessa, and then my mom ended up getting with someone that didn't like to work, and everything went downhill really fast for us there with family drama. And I remember at one point, my mom's boyfriend, he tore down at a carnival one time. They helped him tear down, and they offered him a job for the summer. Well, my mom's boyfriend didn't want to work, so we ended up going and working at the carnival over the summer. Well, they do. Then at the end of the year, it turns into me and my mom going and traveling with them. So I'm 12, and I start working at a carnival and during the summer. And so we had a weird life as far as that goes, and seeing a lot of stuff that we probably didn't need to. But
Oh yeah, crazy stuff.
now I think that's the benefit for guys like us, though, because I'd assume you probably grew up at a young age.
I I feel like if I didn't go through the things that I went through, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I feel like I deal with things pretty good. I don't let emotions and things get in my way because of all that. But it's helped me a lot in the work industry and my work ethic and things like that. I don't all that drama and past shit that I dealt with kind of made me a hardened, disciplined person. I don't want to be what I seen and what I had to deal with. So I was the kind of person that transformed myself rather than went down the same path.
Exactly.
So
That's really good to hear, because I'm assuming we probably had that same kind of thing. Then you probably broke and didn't have like name brand clothes all the time.
oh, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've hit rock bottom. Like really, really, really rock bottom. I've worked hard for what I've had. I got 4 DWIs, brother. If I didn't spend all the money on those DWIs trying to stay out of trouble and out of jail and things like that, I would be in a way better place than I am now. Way better place.
So now, I guess with that, then are you still drinking stuff though?
No. My last fight in Tampa, it was my first fight out of town, right? We're in Florida. It's spring break, dude. I just got done with weigh-ins. I didn't make a big long post about it on Facebook because I didn't want to take away from my opponent or the fight or anything like that. But that's when I kind of realized I had a problem. And I had to take a break for a month, so I quit cold turkey for a month. But I got completely like obliterated drunk the night before that fight.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it was bad. I couldn't eat the next day. I was shaking, getting my hands wrapped. I couldn't hold down any water. Yeah, I was going to the bathroom constantly. It was not a fun time that next day. Not a fun time that next day.
And
I'm so surprised that I was able to perform as well as I did.
Did you get the win on that one?
No, that was a 3-round war. It was a unanimous decision on his part. Really tested my gangster, pulled the dog out of me, gave me 7 stitches below my eye, my first cut in a fight. I didn't know how I was going to take that, so I'm glad I was able to experience that. That's really like the first real piece of damage that I've taken in my 12 fights. But yeah.
Did your coach think anything about that? Like, seeing you shaky before the fight?
Oh yeah, he asked me what was wrong. I'm like, dude, I really fucked up last night, dude. I'm like not in a good spot right now. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to fucking suck it up now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's game time. You're gonna have to put your freaking game face on. He's really good at that. He's really good at talking you up when you need it. And really,
That's
good.
I was on that freaking stool between round 2 and 3, really questioning myself. And I almost made a decision that I would have regretted for a long time, probably for the rest of my life. And he stopped me from doing that and pushed me.
see,
So,
that's why you got to have a good coach on your side. Someone that believes in you, and obviously he knew you could get through that, and that's why he allowed. He obviously told you that, and I appreciate you actually talking about that, because I actually want to go and say though. A lot of people don't like to talk about stuff like that, and I know that's something that you probably, like you say, you don't want to take away from your opponent. But if we look at the reality of that, if you were on your A game, you probably would have won that fight then. And you never know. Obviously, anything could happen. But if you think about it, and I know that's something you probably think about. So,
oh, I definitely think about it. That's why I had to take a step back, really look at myself, and I really had to stop. Really had to stop. My endurance wasn't there. My snappiness wasn't there. My reaction time wasn't there. Kind of a little foggy brained,
Yeah.
But, dude, they fucked up my walkout music, and you know how important my walkout music is to me. And my walkout, dude, they fucked that up. I mean, one thing after another. But
Yeah,
I pulled through.
That's the thing. At least you're a man. You still stuck through it no matter what. And I think that's the part though that I really appreciate about too, and you sharing it because hopefully a kid sees it and they hear you say that and stuff because especially when you're fighting all the time. You got a regular job. You got kids. You're training. I understand like things get you're just kind of probably do it to time relax, take the edge off, feel like you can just relax and stuff. So to hear that, I feel like it's big because I was drinking a lot at one point, but now my problem is I smoke sometimes 5 to 10 blunts a day. So you're talking I'm running 5 miles on top.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, I know that weed's not like an issue, but again, whenever you're talking something with cardio, if I wasn't smoking, I feel like I could be just way better. I'm not Mike Tyson, so I gotta find those little points where I can get my edge.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about though, because I'm trying to dial my smoke intake down a little bit.
Yeah, it's
5-minute rounds for 3 rounds does not sound fun while I'm smoking. So
yeah,
I'm definitely bringing that down.
Do they test you guys?
I don't know.
They don't do they do steroid tests or anything though for like FAC or Synergy at all?
I have no idea. Nobody's talked to me about testing.
Like not for amateurs though at all?
I do blood testing and stuff like that for the Kansas side.
Okay.
Missouri side, I haven't done any testing for the Missouri side. They just do your little bullshit physical right before you fight, and that's it in Missouri.
I need to get on that creatine then and start doing the MMA.
No, I need to get on some supplements for real. I don't take any supplements. Nothing for recovery or anything.
Yeah, I've been trying to get on some like joint and like muscle relief stuff because dude, like my knees like they be snapping all the time. My hips, I'll be like doing like leg raises and you just hear my hips just popping. Like this is not good. I'm gonna have to have a surgery one day, but I was like, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully, we can afford stem cells then.
Right. See, I get injured in the gym. I snap back from it pretty well. I may be 35, but I move better than most of the 20-year-olds in there.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that, dude.
So,
And now, when you say you get injured in the gym, what is your difference between being injured and just actually like just dealing with pain? Because I know there's that difference where, I mean, you can see my shin. I literally it's swollen as shit, and I'm still going and training. I could barely walk last night and stuff, but I'm still going and training on it.
No, I'd definitely be training with that. Sharky Slater, that motherfucker. We were sparring one time. He got me right in my rib cage, dude, and he popped it out of place or broke it or did something. Actually, I can't say he broke it because I did go get x-rays, and they said it wasn't broken. But they said everything looked normal, but it don't look normal down there, and it don't feel normal. It's like super freaking pointy on this side, super pointy. But that inhibited me from training for like 2 weeks, and when I went back, it was like light duty training. Like light duty training. Like I couldn't even get out of my bed. It was horrible. I had to like roll out of my bed to get out of my bed.
Shit. Yeah, I haven't had anything like that, but I know you've probably had this just being sore because I'm training sometimes 3 to 5 hours a day, and I'll be like, I'll wake up and like, yeah, you're like rolling out of bed though, just from those normal aches and pains, and you're like, why do I do this? And then you go and run 5 miles, and you're like, again, I don't know why I do this.
I usually only feel it in the morning for a little bit. As soon as I get to work and start moving around, I'm very active at my job, so I'm kind of like, my job requires me to stretch and move and bend and all kinds of stuff. So I usually work all that out pretty quickly.
That's fair. I'm kind of just on that like gym bum life. I'm just trying to work at the gym and do little side stuff, and I'm trying to do random stuff like this, I've worked in factories and stuff like all growing up, and I'm tired of that stuff. That's why I like working at the gym and stuff. But
oh, dude, my step counter, I'll kill 4 miles easy at work at the gym, just walking around, moving.
See, that's the benefit though with having a job like that where you are moving, because that's training at the end of the day. Like that's things that a lot of people also don't take in consideration.
Right.
Because I know I got some like, my Mexican friends, dude, that are like boxers. Those guys just work construction all day.
Oh, dude.
And it's like they come in and they're tough.
Those are a different breed of man right there.
Yeah,
Dude.
I got one, Javier. This is my friend Javier, dude. I remember like when I first started, like he would literally like have his hands up and he would be like, just jab, jab, and I'm like, I'm jabbing you. I'm just punching him in the face at this point, and he's just still telling me just keep jabbing, and then he just starts throwing shots to my body, and you're just like what is wrong? Like I'm hitting this guy hard, and he's just like, I don't know. Those guys they're animals.
Yeah. Mexican fighters, man, they're hard to put down.
Yeah,
They just keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna try to pad my record enough. Make sure you don't gotta deal with them. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm willing to fight anyone. That's what I really respect about you too, and saying you want to get out there and fight, because too many. That's what's nice about the MMA compared to boxing, is because you actually see guys that need to fight each other fight, and I wish boxing would just do that more, because there's that stigma that if you lose, okay, instead of making that $100,000, now you're making $10,000 for your fight, or $20,000. So, I just wish that it was more competitive. And
don't get me wrong, there's levels to the game, right?
Yeah.
My amateur career, I kind of threw like the level shit out the window. I wanted to test myself against whoever wanted to fight me, right? Hence 6-6. But I feel like I fought some of the best in Kansas City, right? And the ones that I fought and lost to, or barely lost to, like DaCosta, I think he's holding like 2 belts right now. I'm pretty proud of that.
Aren't some of these guys also like 10, 15 years younger than you too?
Oh, yeah.
That you're fighting, so that's a big deal for you to even, when you're going the distance with these guys, 'cause people don't understand that cardio difference sometimes. You're still kind of in your prime right now at that 35, but when you're going against someone that's 22, 23, I'm sure you can tell a difference. At least for the first round until your experience kicks in.
The younger guys I always feel like are more scrappier, more like unconservative. Yeah. They're ready to blow out everything, And the more as time goes, you get older, I guess, wiser. They kind of slow that down. So, the younger guys are always something to deal with, because you have to expect that with the younger guys, unless they're scared.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing with that too is everyone has a plan till you get punched, and not always, especially MMA, I feel like the best fighter's not always winning, because all it takes is that right setup, and they catch you with the right shot, and you're going down. So I think that's what I've came to really just love about the sport is, it's humbling. I was thinking I was so good, and then I literally had this conversation with a kid the day it happened. He's like, dude, you're the best one, and like, let's go into our gym, and you're here all the time, you're training. And literally that night I got dropped by somebody. Like literally, it was like a flash knockout, but I went right into the punch, and my whole legs just gave out, and and there was like 30 people in there. It was on video. The video got sent to a few people, so I was in my head about it a little bit, but I think that's the thing that's so humbling about it, because then it's what are you gonna do when that stuff happens? And I think that's what's nice, seeing you even take a loss where you might, it was a war and you got your cuts or whatever, but then you're back in there 2 months later after that Florida fight.
There's really only I think there's 2 fights that I'm not proud of. Even in my losses, I was proud of those losses. But Sam Coronado, I was not proud of that fight. And Dylan Reichman, I was not proud of that fight. They both caught me. And I didn't get to express, or there was no dog that I got to show, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was disappointed in those. But
now,
losses and wins. Those are the only ones I'm disappointed in.
When you say they caught you, because you've never been knocked out, but I mean, was it like a flash knockout, and next thing you know, they're just on top of you?
Oh no, those are both rear naked chokes.
Oh, rear naked choke.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam Coronado, he got my back real quick and slid in his hooks while I was standing. I lost my balance and was like tripoded up, and he was super quick, freaking locked in his hooks and rear naked choked me. That one I probably could have fought a little bit better, but I didn't feel like I was in trouble at first and thought I was just, but I knew I was going to have to expense a lot of energy if I wanted to get out of it. So I tried to wait it out. I knew I had a minute and a half to wait. But his arm slipped, caught underneath my chin, and then I was tapping pretty quickly after that. Dylan Reichman, very well decorated purple belt. I was a white belt at the time. I think it was like my third fight, not much experience, and he took me down pretty quickly and tapped me out pretty quickly.
Was that an earlier fight?
It was like my third fight, I think, third or fourth fight. But those are the only two fights that I'm pretty upset about.
Yeah, that's I definitely understand that. I know I lost this last one, and I was pretty upset about it, but I think I learned more from losing than I think I would have from winning. And that dude actually ended up getting knocked out and a broken nose from my friend the next day. So
Ooh.
I might have dodged a bullet. I ended up going to the UFC and getting free tickets. So like I said the other day, if I have to lose to get free UFC tickets, I'm going to lose a little more often.
Put me on that list.
Yeah. But that's actually shit. I ran into you there. That's and I sent you that message the other day about how you carry yourself, and I think that was a weird thing because I was walking in from outside because my friends were smoking, and I saw this guy, and I was like, for one, it was just like it just stopped me in my tracks because it's just the way you carry yourself. I was like, that guy's a somebody. And then I kind of turned and I'm like, that guy looks familiar. And then I was like, oh, that's Caleb. And then I went and stood awkwardly staring at you for a couple minutes.
That's funny. No, but that was a good night. I ran into a lot of people. It's freaking awesome going to like last night I went to the fights in Moberly for Knuckled Up Promotions, the Staples Center for UFC fights, the out-of-town fights in Kansas and stuff like that. It's so crazy and so weird almost how many people know me and follow me and comment, and I don't know any of these people, but they follow me and tell me good job and all this stuff, and it's I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's I think the coolest feeling too, is because I'm now starting. I only got 2 fights, but I'm starting. People are kind of knowing who I am, and I got lucky that a friend took these photos of me on my first fight, and so literally the Golden Gloves, their flyers it was literally me punching this dude. So they literally had posters of me. They're selling posters of me at the Golden Gloves. So that was a really weird thing. That's a weird thing. And so I know we were getting into talking about cornering before the mics went out there for a second. So is it more nerve-wracking for you to be in the corner with someone or to be in the corner fighting?
So definitely nerve-wracking, more so being in the corner. I'm not in control at that point, They're in control. But it's more nerve-wracking because they put their trust in me. I don't want to let them down. I'm not the one fighting. They're the ones fighting, but they're trusting me when they go into battle. Whether it's picking them off the floor or building their confidence in between rounds or calling out combinations that they may not be seeing or thinking about at the time, When I'm in there, it's a different nerve-wrack situation, The nerves are different every single fight, but way different. I'm in control of my destiny.
Do you still get that slow motion feeling when you're in the ring? Because I know how I always described it to people in the last 2 I've had is if you watch those boxing movies where they're in the corner and they're getting hit and it looks so stupid. I feel that's actually what it feels like. Everything feels like it's just going slow motion. I know, like, I'm always like, I'm not even throwing my jab fast. Then I go back and watch the video, and I'm like, oh, wow, I actually was. But it didn't feel like that.
Right. So, I guess there's two different types of slow motion for me, right? There's the type when they're in slow motion and I can feel and see everything that's coming. When I'm like in pure instinct mode and everything's kind of like flow state. But then there's also the other side of that too, where I take the hit. So
Yeah, that's cool, and it's cool to see you in the corner and stuff. I got to corner someone the other day. Well, I wasn't the coach in the corner. I was just a corner guy, I guess, whatever. But I put the stool in the corner. Let me tell you,
I put the stool in the corner.
My armpits were sweating, boy. I was so nervous, and because I was more nervous, I think, to put the stool in there than anything, because I was also on the other side of the coach, and my coach was right here, and he'd go straight up the stairs. So the first time I go to do it, I go to walk in front of him, and I'm like, oh god, this is the one thing I was worried about. Walk right.
I got to wear two shirts, dude. I got to wear my freaking walkout shirt. I got to put that on before we even go out, because that thing will be drenched. It will be drenched if I don't put it on right before we go out.
Yeah, I'm bad about that too, and I get a lot of the swamp ass sweat going.
Dude, it's like uncontrollable. I get way more nervous for my fighters than I do fighting.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that's the weird thing that I think also. I don't get as nervous building up to the fight for the guys. It's more like in that time. But when it comes to like my fight, the whole time I'm nervous for like that whole 4 or 5 hours you wait there, and I think that's ultimately where I get more wore out in my fights right now, is because, I mean, my last fight I didn't fight till 11:30. I'm in bed by like 10 o'clock most nights, and like that exhaustion of we weigh in at 4 and we didn't fight till 11:30, and I'm literally, my heart will be at like 160 beats, then I'll calm down, and then it's just that flow. I think that's what always gets me. You still get the nerves like that the whole day, or?
It's more like anxiety. Like I'm like pumped to get in there, My nerves don't really start. The butterflies and nerves don't really start hitting until I'm like about to walk out. When like I'm backstage about to walk out, that's when I start pacing back and forth, doing my circles. That's when the nerves start. But everything before that is like, I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah.
As soon as that bell rings, all that's gone. All that's gone. I tell myself, here we go, and now, whatever happens, happens.
I know you appreciate the support, but does it ever kind of get a little annoying leading up to a fight, especially the day of, if you see people and they're all coming up to you like, oh, you gonna win, or you're doing this, and it's like, I know you like it, but at the same time, it's like you're also. I try to get in my own space and stuff, so it's like I like to talk to people and stuff, but it's always like, of course I think I'm gonna win. You don't gotta ask me that question, but I think, I don't know, you answer it like a million times.
Right.
I think it.
No, I have people talk their little shit, I've got 6 losses on my record, but I have my friends and, coworkers talk their little shit, even though they're like my biggest supporters. But
oh, yeah. I think you need that, though, those guys that do that.
The most annoying thing, though, I can say, like, day of or day before the fight, tickets.
Yep.
I almost need like a freaking ticket crew or some, because it's like super hard to keep track of, and it's just a freaking hassle.
Dude, and surprisingly or not, those people that you think are your friends will be the ones that'll try to just get the tickets and not even pay you for them. I've had that happen with shirts, actually. That shirt I gave you, I had like 70 shirts sold, but like maybe 50 or 40 of them actually came through paying for them.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I've only had one person do that to me, though. He's more so like an acquaintance from back in the day, but I've never had like a friend do that to me.
Yeah.
Most of the time they freaking buy the tickets, and then they're like, dude, I can't make it. I'm so sorry. Give the tickets to somebody else.
Well, luckily with the tickets, I mean, you're not going to give them to them, I guess, before. But you always had those people that are like, oh, yeah, I'm going. And they try to tell you that last day they're not going, or whatever excuse. And you've already went and picked up tickets for them and have those extra tickets.
That shit is super annoying. Yeah. Super annoying.
Well, another one, dude, is for summer, I've literally told people, hey, the fights are here. You can look it up here. And they'll literally message me like an hour before I'm fighting, like, hey, what's the address? It's like, dude, I'm not texting you.
Right. No shit, dude. That is definitely another one. What time the doors open? What time the fight start? What time do you start? What time you fighting? Like, dude,
Yeah, I started telling people it's like just show up. You know what I'm saying? It's worth watching all the fights.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
no
saying?
shit.
Who cares when I go up?
Yeah, it's entertainment all the way through.
Yeah, but I know we're gonna have to get out of here pretty quick. So I want to go ahead and end this with I'm gonna have Dustin ask you a couple questions here. Uh, let's see what you got.
I know you said the ticket thing is a hassle,
Mhm.
but with that many people liking you or following you, would you ever make merch for them?
Oh yeah, I actually do have a merch line through one of my sponsors, Team Reaper. I've got a link, that you can click on. It's my walkout gear. That's pretty cool. But I do want to get some other shit going on with a merch line. I think I just got a logo set up and things like that. I think that would be really cool. I think a lot of people would dig that. I don't want to do just like your regular T-shirts though. I want to do like cutoffs and like cutoffs with hoodies and cool shit, tracksuits and shit like that. Just a dollar T-shirt with a print on it,
Shots fired.
Yeah, I want some style to it. One thing about me is I always try to do like first impressions are like super big with me. I always try to stand out. No matter what it is, I try to stand out from the crowd, If I had a merch line, that's what I would want to do with it.
That'd be cool.
Do you have some antics ready for your first fight?
What do you mean?
I know, like, my coach, one of the things he did, he got condoms with his face on them, and he threw them out when he walked out.
Oh, no, no, I don't do all that. Like I said before, I'm just here for the love of the sport. Martial arts, man. I think when somebody really finds the art in it, their mindset towards the game changes.
Oh yeah,
So
it's definitely that's a good answer. You got another one?
Do you have a favorite MMA fighter or any?
oh
any
yeah,
idols
I
and stuff
definitely
like
have an favorite MMA fighter. Pretty cliche, but Conor McGregor, early Conor McGregor, not Conor McGregor now. But yeah, he was a big shit talker, but backed it up and did what he said he was going to do. So, and he was good at it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Awesome. So this is the Hylton Highlights podcast. We had my brother, the co-host, and the great Caleb Williams on. Thanks for coming out, man, and coming on. I appreciate it.
for sure, brother. Thanks for having me.